You sit down at your desk with a clear plan. The first 30 minutes feel almost effortless and clean. Ideas connect quickly and your fingers move without hesitation. Then something subtle begins to shift inside you. Your thoughts grow heavier, your eyes drift toward the window. You read the same sentence 3 times without absorbing it. A small craving for distraction starts pulling at you. You assume you are losing discipline or willpower again. But your brain is following a precise biological rhythm. And what happens at the 90-minute mark will change how you work forever. Your brain does not operate in a flat, continuous line. It moves in waves called ultradian rhythms. These rhythms run roughly 90 minutes each. Scientists first observed them in sleep cycles decades ago. Then researchers noticed something strange. The same cycles continue during your waking hours. Your focus rises, peaks, then naturally falls. This pattern repeats throughout your entire day. Most people think becoming an heir looks dramatic. Most people think becoming a millionaire looks dramatic. The exhaustion they feel is not weakness. It is a wave they refuse to honor. In the opening minutes of deep work, your brain warms up slowly. Neural pathways begin firing together. Around minute 15, attention starts to sharpen. Dopamine and norepinephrine rise steadily in your system. By minute 30, you enter what researchers call the flow window. Time begins to feel different here. Your sense of effort drops dramatically. The work appears to do itself for a while. This is the part most productivity advice never mentions. Flow is biological, non-motivational. You cannot force it through caffeine or pressure. You can only build the conditions that invite it. Between minute 40 and minute 70, your brain reaches peak performance. Glucose burns rapidly in the prefrontal cortex. You produce your best thinking during this window. Solutions appear that felt impossible an hour ago. Sentences flow with unusual clarity. Decisions feel obvious and quiet. This is the state writers, coders, and surgeons chase their entire careers. It is real, but it is finite. But this peak cannot last forever. Your brain is consuming fuel at an extraordinary rate. Neurotransmitters begin to deplete. Cognitive resources start running quietly low. Then around minute 75, something measurable happens inside you. Your brain quietly signals that it needs rest. The signals are gentle at first. A small yawn, a wandering thought, a sudden urge to check your phone. Most people misread these signals completely. They interpret them as laziness or weak character. So they push harder, they drink more coffee, they force another hour to prove something to themselves. And this is exactly where everything begins to break. What neuroscience discovered next changes everything. When you push past 90 minutes without rest, your brain shifts into a depleted state. Cortisol rises sharply in your bloodstream. Your prefrontal cortex starts losing power. The thinking part of your brain literally goes dim. Decisions become harder. Errors multiply quietly. Creativity collapses without you noticing it. You feel like you are working, but you are mostly spinning. The output drops while the effort climbs. This is the hidden cost almost no one measures. Hours worked beyond 90 minutes are often wasted hours. Worse, they steal from the next day. The fatigue compounds silently into tomorrow morning. You wake up tired before the day even begins. The grind has already taxed you in your sleep. This is why so many high performers feel hollow. They are winning on paper and losing inside their own bodies. Studies on elite performers reveal something striking. Top violinists, chess masters, writers, and surgeons share one habit. They work in focused blocks of around 90 minutes. Then they rest fully before the next block. They do not grind for 6 hours straight. They cycle deliberately between effort and recovery. This is not laziness disguised as strategy. It is alignment with how the brain actually functions. If you have experienced exhaustion at the same hour every afternoon, you are not alone. And you are not broken. You have simply been working against a biological wave instead of riding it. Picture this. You are deep in an important task at the 80-minute mark. Your focus starts to soften. You feel the familiar pull toward distraction creeping in. Instead of fighting it, you stop. You stand up and walk away from the screen for 15 minutes. No phone, no email, no new input flooding your tired neurons. When you return, your brain is rebuilt. The next 90-minute cycle becomes possible again. This single shift can double your daily output without adding any hours. It also restores something you may have lost, the quiet joy of finishing a real piece of work. Comment which point in the 90-minute cycle you usually break down. If you tend to push through past the wall, drop a single word, cycle. Share what your afternoon focus actually feels like right now. These small reflections often reveal where your real energy leak lives. Reading other comments may also show you patterns you never named. Now let us return to what happens inside you at the threshold. The 90-minute mark is not arbitrary. It reflects a deep biological boundary built into mammalian brains. During this window, your brain shifts dominant brainwave patterns. Beta waves recede slightly while alpha rises. Alpha waves are linked to integration, creativity, and quiet reflection. They are not signs of weakness. When you ignore alpha and force more beta, you exhaust your system. You also block your most creative insights. Many people report that their best ideas arrive in the shower or on a walk. This is not coincidence. Those activities allow alpha to dominate. The brain finally integrates what it learned during deep focus. In other words, your rest is not the opposite of your work. It is the completion of your work. Without rest, your effort stays raw and unprocessed. The insight you needed never gets to surface. What is coming next is the exact method that fixes this. The protocol is simple in description, but transformative in practice. Work in a single focused block of 90 minutes. Set a clear intention before you begin. Choose one task that genuinely matters today. Remove every distraction from your environment. Close every tab that is not part of the task. Put your phone in another room, not on silent, not face down, in another room entirely. Begin the block with full presence. Treat the first 15 minutes as a warm-up phase. Do not judge your output during minutes 1 through 15. Trust that your brain is climbing steadily. Between minute 30 and minute 75, lean fully into the work. This is your peak window. Do not interrupt this window for anything that is not urgent. Most things you call urgent are not. When the block ends, stop completely. Do not extend the work because you feel inspired. Inspiration at minute 90 is often the brain spending its final reserves. Honor the boundary anyway. Stay with me. This next part will explain something about your brain you have never been able to articulate. The rest period after a focused block is not optional. It is where consolidation happens. Your brain replays what it learned and stores it deeply. Skipping rest is like cooking without letting food rest. The ideal recovery lasts between 15 and 30 minutes. Movement is better than scrolling. Walking, stretching, drinking water, looking at the sky. These small acts restore your neural fuel. Avoid social media during this window. Notifications hijack the recovery your brain needs most. Even 5 minutes of scrolling can reset your stress hormones. The cost is invisible but real. After true rest, your next 90-minute block becomes powerful again. You can stack 2 or 3 blocks per day. 2 deep blocks of 90 minutes outperform 8 hours of fragmented work. The math is brutal, but true. This is the part most ambitious people refuse to accept. They equate hours with progress. But hours without rhythm are mostly noise. The brain rewards rhythm, not duration. You can sit at a desk for 10 hours and produce less than someone who worked 3. Time is not the measure. The measure is what your brain was allowed to do inside the time you gave it. When you align with your 90-minute waves, several quiet shifts happen over time. Your afternoon crashes start to disappear. Your evening energy returns slowly. Your work begins to feel meaningful again. You stop dragging yourself across the finish line each day. You also reclaim something you had almost forgotten, the feeling of finishing the day with energy left. Sleep deepens because your nervous system is no longer flooded with leftover stress chemicals. But there is something even more surprising about this pattern. People who honor their 90-minute cycles report a deeper change. Their relationship with work itself transforms. Work stops feeling like a battle against the self. It becomes a conversation with the self. You learn to read your own signals with respect. You stop punishing the brain for being a brain. This shift takes about 2 weeks to feel. After a month, returning to the old way becomes unthinkable. The cost of ignoring this rhythm is steep. It is not just lost productivity that haunts you. It is the slow erosion of your love for your own craft. The thing you once enjoyed becomes a grind. Most people think becoming a millionaire looks dramatic. They imagine champagne, luxury cars. People who burn out are rarely lazy. They are usually the most committed people in the room. They simply try to override a wave that cannot be overridden. The brain always wins in the end. It is wiser to negotiate with your biology than to declare war on it. The people who last in any demanding field are not the toughest. They are the ones who learn to stop on time. So here is your challenge for tomorrow. Choose one task that genuinely matters to you. Block 90 minutes on your calendar. Treat it as untouchable, like a meeting with someone important. Remove your phone from the room. Begin without expectation, only with presence. When the 90 minutes end, stop fully. Walk for 15 minutes without any input. Notice what you feel at minute 95. Notice what you feel at minute 120. Do this for 7 days and observe what changes. Your output, your mood, your evenings, your sleep. You will likely discover that you have been overworking and underproducing for years. The fix is not more effort. The fix is rhythm. The fix is respect for the biological wave you live inside. Your brain is not a machine that runs on fuel and willpower. It is an ocean that rises and falls. Fighting the tide drains you. Riding the tide carries you somewhere new. The most focused minds you admire are not stronger than you. They are simply better aligned with their own waves. That alignment is available to you starting tomorrow morning. It costs nothing but the courage to stop on time. If this video gave you something useful, leave a comment with the word rhythm. It helps more focused minds find this channel. Subscribe if you want to keep learning how your mind actually works behind the noise. Your hours are precious. Your attention is your last real currency. Spend it in 90-minute waves, and the day will give back what years of grinding never could. The brain you are trying to force is the brain that is waiting to rise. Stop pushing the wave. Start riding it.